In today's video, we're going to be going through one specific cutting pattern that you should know if you're a handler in Ultimate Frisbee. My name's Eric, I play for the Premier Opens Club in Australia, and we're going to be going through an example of exactly what this cutting pattern looks like in a game in just a second. But first, I want to walk you through exactly what scenario this cut occurs in and exactly how you can execute this cut to get maximum yardage when you guys are out there on the field. So first, when does this specific scenario occur and when should you be looking to execute this specific cut? Well, the specific scenario that we're looking for here is whenever we end up being this third handler on the field. What I mean by that is when the disc is in the middle of the field and it moves towards the open side, like so. There's often a scenario where we can be this inactive player towards the weak side of the field, towards the break side of the field. Now, what most people will say to do in this situation is to simply return back to the stack and have 5 people in the vertical stack. But this is where I want to challenge you guys with this new particular cutting pattern that we can use to get maximum yardage on this side of the field. For this specific situation, we want to anticipate the scenario where the disc doesn't actually end up progressing downfield. Instead, when the disc gets faked off, when it doesn't get passed downfield, what happens? Well, the disc is probably going to swing back to the middle of the field, back towards the reset. Now, when the disc does swing back towards the middle of the field, what becomes the new risk space on the field? Well, whenever the disc swings back towards the middle of the field, we want to see if we can progress it towards this break side of the field. And so this is the specific cutting pattern that we're looking for here. As this third handler, instead of simply clearing back to the stack, we want to hold this width, hold this wide point on the field out in the lane on the left side here in anticipation for the disc to swing back towards the middle of the field so that we can get a big gainer towards this break side of the field on the next continuation pass. So again, what that looks like here is for us to be in this third handler position, to see the disc move towards that open side, set up in a position in case the disc swings back towards the middle of the field, and take advantage so that we can get the maximum amount of yardage on this opposite break side, super threatening space on the field. Now we're going to go through a specific example where this occurs in a game scenario in just a second, but if it's your first time learning more advanced cutting patterns like this, you can go into our pattern recognition library, and inside we have a number of patterns that you should be recognizing when it comes to getting open, getting blocks, resets, and much more. If you're interested in getting these resources and more, I'll leave some information in the pinned comment down below. Now jumping back into the specific example where this cut occurs. So what I want to do first is hit play, show you guys exactly what occurs and exactly where the yardage is gained in this specific clip. And then we're going to hit rewind and replay and unpack exactly what's happened. And in this clip, I want you to pay attention to the person that has the disc right now, Mark Wee, who's actually one of my teammates on Sydney Sunder. Awesome. Now let's hit rewind and let's unpack exactly how this occurs and how this cutting pattern is used in this specific scenario. Now in this specific example, it's a little bit different, but the principles of this cutting pattern are exactly the same. What happens here is Mark throws this inside break towards the middle of the field to his center handler. Now from here, he actually ends up slotting into this third handler spot. So you can imagine, similar to our example, it's very similar to being in this third handler position, where the disc moves towards this open side and he's setting himself up on this break lane in case the disc swings back towards the middle of the field. Now you can see this is exactly what happens in this scenario. If you think of him as this third handler position, he clears, allowing Alex Gann here to be that center handler, and he cuts hard and early to get into a very threatening spot downfield to take advantage in case the disc swings back towards the middle of the field. You can see here that if I hit play, he's working very hard to get that downfield yardage, and he's anticipating the fact that the disc is going to swing back towards the middle, allowing him to make this change of direction and get a huge cut, a huge gainer, huge yardage towards the break side of the field. Now, what I want you to pay attention to when we're analyzing this cut is that it's not overly technical. There's no super advanced, difficult footwork that we have to execute. The difficulty here is in the fundamentals and in the timing. The idea here is the only reason this cut works and the only reason that Mark here is able to get so much yardage on the break side of the field is because he's anticipating this swing. he's anticipating this movement of the disc and he's putting himself in a position to capitalize 100% on where the disc is going to be in one passer's time. If he was any slower in his movement or his timing or his setup was a little bit off, then he would not be getting as much yardage as he did in this scenario. But because he's thinking about this cutting pattern ahead of time, because he's setting himself up in such a way to aggressively clear hard to get into this threatening spot on the field, it means that all he needs to do is make a simple change of direction to get the disc towards this threatening space on the field. So the next time you find yourself as that third handler, see if you can set yourself up downfield in such a way for you to take advantage in case the disc swings back towards the middle of the field so that you can get an easy gainer towards that opposite break side of the field. Ultimately, this specific type of cutting pattern is a lot more impactful than just simply joining the back of the stack. There is a name that we give this cut in Australia. Not sure if it's used anywhere else in the world, but we call this the button hook. The idea here is the shape of the cut itself is similar to a button hook, where you're cutting downfield in one direction and you're immediately changing direction, stopping and coming under the same way that you came for that big gainer to hit you right on the chest. And you can see, if we play this example one last time, that's the exact cutting pattern that happens here. We make a cut downfield, change direction, and again, we get this gainer right on the chest. Awesome. Look for this cutting pattern the next time you find yourself in that third handler position. It's going to be super impactful if you can get this right, and it allows your team to really attack that break side of the field aggressively with less effort. Again, if you want my help and my feedback when it comes to implementing patterns just like these into your game, I'll leave some information in the pinned comment down below. As always, if you enjoy the video, hit like, subscribe for more Ultimate Frisbee content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.